Part 1: The Descent into Trouble. My name is Marco Danili, and a year ago, I was just another man living a quiet, honest life. I had a wife, Alina, who smiled like springtime and saw the good in everything. We had a daughter, Alina, 8 years old, curious, wild-haired, and obsessed with building castles out of books. I worked as a home security installer around the Zurich suburbs. People called me to make their homes safer, and I took pride in that. We lived in a modest house with a garden Alina planted herself. Weekends were for pancakes, backyard soccer, and movie nights on the couch. We were happy, not rich, not flashy, but rooted. My entire life revolved around making sure they were safe and loved. But safety, I would soon learn, is a fragile illusion. It started with a client named Raffaello Merkovic. He came through a referral, some rich Eastern European guy who wanted a custom surveillance setup for a warehouse outside the city. He offered cash, twice my usual rate, and asked no questions. I need it done fast, he said. No invoices, no records. The warehouse was isolated, surrounded by empty lots and fields. It felt off. Cold, silent, too clean. But money was tight. Alina had a dental operation coming up, and Alina's hours at the clinic had been cut. I took the job. The first 2 days were uneventful, installing motion detectors, sealing cameras, hidden sensors near the back entrances. But on the third day, while checking the network hub, I opened a wrong door. Inside, the lights were dim. Crates stacked to the ceiling, all sealed. Some had Cyrillic letters on them, others were marked with chemical symbols. And in the corner, under a tarp, were rifles. Military grade. Dozens of them. I didn't stay long enough to see more. I shut the door, heart pounding. Raffaello found me later that day in the parking lot. He was smoking a cigar and staring at my van. "You went too far," he said softly. "But since you saw, we might as well trust you." That's how it began. No threats. No guns to my head. Just an unspoken contract, sealed with fear. The next week, Raffaello called and asked me to help with a delivery. A van, parked outside the warehouse. All I had to do was drive it across town and leave it in a parking garage. He paid me 10,000 francs in cash. I didn't ask what was inside. That delivery became another, and another. The jobs got darker. A package to drop off in the woods. A phone to pick up from a motel room. Cameras to disable at the loading docks. At night, I would lie awake listening to Alina breathe beside me, wondering if I was already dragging her into the abyss. She noticed the changes. "You don't talk anymore," she said one evening. "You jump at every sound. What's going on?" I wanted to tell her. I wanted to unburden myself. But how could I? What words could explain the slow, invisible rope tightening around my throat? Then the threats started. Not direct, never blunt. Just reminders. "You have a beautiful daughter," Raffaello once said casually while sipping espresso. "Kids grow up fast these days. Dangerous world, you know?" I stopped sleeping. I stopped laughing. I stopped being myself. One morning, Alina showed me a drawing she made at school. It was of the three of us, holding hands under a bright sun. But the figure meant to be me had no face. "You always look tired, Papa," she said, innocently. "I forgot how to draw your smile." That hit harder than anything Raffaello ever said. I knew then that I had to get them out. Out of Zurich. Out of my life, if necessary. Because I was in too deep. And the tide was still rising. Part 2: The Heart-Wrenching Decision. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the dark kitchen, the ticking clock louder than my thoughts, watching the front door like someone might burst through it at any second. And maybe they would. When dawn came, I knew what I had to do. Alina was making tea when I told her. Her hair was still messy from sleep, and she was wearing that faded sweater she loved. I opened my mouth, and for the first time in months, I didn't lie. I told her everything. At first, she didn't say a word. Just stood there holding the teacup like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Then she sat down, her face pale, her hands trembling. How long? She asked. Almost a year. And you said nothing? Her voice cracked. You let them come this close to us? I thought I could fix it. I thought I could protect you without involving you. But it's getting worse. They're watching us. They mentioned Alina by name. That shattered something in her. I went to the hallway and pulled a duffel bag from the closet. I have passports. Cash. A contact. You and Alina need to leave today. I already have a safe house prepared near the Jura Mountains. My cousin Andre will take care of you. You'll have new identities. No one will find you. Her eyes welled with tears. And you? I'll stay. No, she said. We go together. If I go with you, they'll chase us. If I stay, they'll think you left me. That we're finished. That I'm broken. They'll leave you alone, at least for a while. I can buy you time. Alina covered her face with her hands. I'd never seen her cry like that. Not even when her father died. I can't do this without you, she said. You have to. For her. We packed in silence. Alina danced around the house, thinking we were going on a surprise trip. She hugged her stuffed lion and filled her backpack with books and markers. I want to draw trees in the mountains, she said, smiling. Do they have bears there? I forced a laugh. Just little ones. By noon, we were on the road. I took the long route, switching highways, checking mirrors constantly. The air in the car felt like glass, ready to crack. At a rest stop, I handed Alina a folder, 2 Swiss passports, 2 Austrian ones, and a slip of paper with a number she was only to call in emergencies. We pulled into a hidden train station just outside Bern. One of those old rural ones that hardly ran. She held my hand the whole time, so tightly I thought she might break it. Tell me we'll see you again, she whispered. I wanted to lie. I wanted to say yes, of course. But she deserved the truth. I don't know, I said. Alina hugged me and whispered, Don't forget to smile, Papa. The train arrived with a low screech. I kissed Alina. I didn't want to let go. Her hands lingered in mine for just a second too long before she turned away. And then, they were gone. I stood on that platform for a long time. Just breathing. Like if I stopped, I'd fall to pieces right there. When I finally returned home, it wasn't home anymore. The silence was alive. Her mug was still in the sink. Alina's shoes still by the door. A drawing on the fridge with my face missing, still taped crooked. I sat on the couch, turned on a cartoon Alina loved, and cried until my throat burned. I had protected them. But I had also lost them. Part 3, The Pain of Goodbye. 3 days passed. I didn't leave the house. I didn't shave. I barely ate. I just waited for the consequences to arrive. Then, on the 4th day, the knock came. 2 men in black coats stood outside. Unsmiling. One held a folded newspaper under his arm, the other wore gloves even though it was warm. We need to talk, the gloved one said. I let them in. What choice did I have? They didn't sit. Just paced the living room, scanning the walls, the photos, the signs of life that had already fled. Where's your family? One asked. Gone, I said. She left me. Took the kid. Why? I shrugged. Said I wasn't the man she married anymore. They didn't buy it entirely, but they didn't press either. You're still on the list, the other said. Raffaello has a big move coming. You're driving again. Thursday night. Understood. They left. But they knew. I could see it in their eyes. I was being watched. That night, I retrieved the go bag from behind the false panel under the stairs. My pistol. My documents. My copy of everything ID gathered over the last 10 months, photos, routes, license plates, code names. I uploaded it to a secure cloud server. Sent it to 4 separate anonymous inboxes I had prepared in advance. One went to an investigative journalist in Bern. Another to Interpol. Then I waited. The warehouse I was supposed to drive to on Thursday? I went there a day early. I knew the layout. I knew where the flammables were. I poured gasoline through every corridor, every crate aisle. And when the match touched the floor, the flames roared like judgment. The fire lit the sky red. I watched it from a hilltop, breathing for the first time in months. The next day, Raffaello's name was all over the news, though only in whispers. Suspected arson. Gang tensions escalating. But no one pointed to me. Not yet. I didn't go back to my house. I didn't have a house anymore. I moved through Zurich like a ghost, switching hotels every 2 nights. I never stayed anywhere long enough to leave a trace. One day, a package appeared at a train station locker I had once shown Alina. Inside was a child's drawing. 3 stick figures, under a mountain. One wore a crown. Another had a lion. The last one was standing alone, with a sad face but a big red heart. There was no note. Just that. They were alive. Safe. I've never called the burner phone I gave Alina. Never replied to the postcards she sends once a month, always from a different mountain town. But I get them. And I keep them. I don't know how long I can keep running. Raffaello's still out there. So are his people. They don't forget. And they don't forgive. But I made my choice. And I would make it again. Because sometimes, protecting your family doesn't mean standing beside them, it means vanishing for them. It means becoming the shadow that keeps the wolves away. Thank you for watching. Have you ever faced a decision where you had to choose between your loved ones and your own safety? Share your experiences in the comments.